So my name is Christine Coppola. I am a business educator at Passaic Valley Regional High School. I'm also an entrepreneur. I am located in New Jersey. You can go to the next slide, please. So I've been teaching both high school and adult learners for 9 years now. And I've been teaching QuickBooks Online for about 9 years. I was lucky enough to have a director of curriculum who, when everybody was using desktop, said, "Oh no, we need some new technology." And that happened to be the year before COVID hit. And everyone went to virtual, and I was able to continue my adult learners to get their QuickBooks certification with the online platform since we weren't in class on the desktop. So I just, was very lucky with that respect. So I went to Rutgers. I graduated with a business degree, but I'm also a licensed cosmetologist and a former salon owner. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Thing. So we're going to be talking about something that impacts every student regardless of their career pathway, and that is personal finance. So many students I speak to, because I've worked in a gen ed high school, I've worked in adult ed, and I've worked in vocational. Students sometimes, they're going to vocational, they're going to become a chef, an electrician, maybe a police officer, a mechanic, graphic designer. Some of these different pathways don't require college degrees, right? And taking that financial impact along with you with that, what it costs to get that degree. So being able to have the personal finance to see these situations, like to notice that personal finance is important no matter what career you go into. Okay, so today, I'm going to share resources available through the Intuit for Education portal, which you've all been working in, right? We're going to click one of a different tab, though. We're going to look at pathway-specific resources and how they connect to the different CTE standards and some different ways to work on them in your classroom. Today, hopefully, we can have you walking away with at least one idea, hopefully 10 ideas to implement all the great Intuit for Education resources that you can have. Okay, we can go into the next slide. So, in your view, how are financial literacy requirements currently being incorporated into CTE pathways? If you want to share your response in the chat. Right? Because most of the time, our financial literacy is a standalone course. Does anybody have it where you are incorporating it into your course, or is everybody just using personal finance as that standalone? Which is a lot of the time since the students are freshmen, which is tough. Oh, okay, people including it in culinary. Okay, we have, let's see, into intro to business, yes. Into the business, into career prep, right? Even if most everybody here is a CTE teacher or a business teacher, counting teacher, but even if I do have some English teachers out there, math teachers out there, I feel that when you incorporate a little bit of personal finance within your course, it just helps that student make a connection of why am I learning this information, right? Because you're connecting it to a real life experience. All right, once we have lifestyle versus income, economics, always a good thing, management, yes. Yes, it's a big talking point. I don't know if anybody happens to, start scrolling on your social media. And I know with my algorithm, a lot of teacher stuff comes up, and a lot of parents are always saying, why is my student, why is my child not learning personal finance in school, real life information? We do. Maybe your kid just come in and talk about it, but I think a lot of teachers try to push it in, right? I know in my school particular, my culinary department, along with the business department, we're going to work together. And I'm so happy to see the Intuit's food truck, because her culinary class is going to be working with the business classes, and then you get your cross curriculum. Okay, we can go on the next slide. Okay, so supporting CTE, right? To make implementation easier, um, Intuit has identified literacy skills that align with each of the 14 national CTE pathways. There are 14 CTE pathways. The resources are already mapped and organized. Everything is there for you. I know when I'm coming in, I don't want to have to remake the wheel, right? So Intuit has done everything for you, right? You just have to click on it. If you're doing it self-paced, you just have to assign it to them, right? Teachers can choose between self-paced and teacher-guided. Something like a tax simulation, I think a teacher needs to maybe have a little guidance along, but some of the other ones with the self-paced, let me tell you, it makes subplans a whole lot easier. You could assign a self-paced module within one of the pathways, and you don't have to worry about anything. You can go in and check on all your students' work to make sure, because my favorite is when they write XXX and hit enter instead of actually answering the question. You can go in and call them out on it. You're also able to print out anything you want in case you want those students to actually paper and pen and write it out, right? So if you don't have an entire class period to dedicate to financial literacy, students complete self-paced lessons independently, right? You reinforce these skills. And I have found even within incorporating, I just incorporated the financial literacy lessons within my adult ESL classroom, where they were able to watch the video and respond because it helped them with their listening, it helped them with their writing, but responding in order to take the TABE tests. And also with my high school students, they just seem to really want to do the work a little bit more because they know maybe they have a job now. Maybe they're trying to save for a car or learning about car insurance. It's something that's relevant to them that they want to actually do the password, the work, right? It's not like busy work. We're just trying to get them to write a full sentence, you know, something like that. Right? We can go to that next slide. So there are 14 pathways. They are all self-guided lessons. If you're short on time, you can just assign them in the self-paced. Otherwise, you're going to have, you can just project them on the screen between the PowerPoints, the slide presentations, and then the worksheets that are also in there. And there's even videos. I love the videos because they have, you can slow it down, you can speed it up. The students could speed it up. They love to go double and triple speed on those videos. And they can rewatch it again in case they missed something. Okay, we can go on that next slide. Right, so here's a picture of that site that we were just on, right? If you scroll down, if you look on that left navigation bar, you're going to see CTE pathways. See where that big pink arrow is pointing to, and then your CTE pathways window will pop up, and you're going to see you have advanced manufacturing, digital technology, health and human services. I don't need to read through them all. Each pathway is aligned with which lessons will fit seamlessly into it. Into it, isn't that funny? Yes, I cracked myself up. I'm sorry. You can go into the next slide. So we have some key features of our CTE pathways with the alignment doc, right? So your coursework is applicable, right? We have them. They're universal skills that everyone could benefit from. So anytime I'm trying to do any of my business lessons, because I teach mainly business, so anytime I do it, I do try and put a little bit of personal in there, because when a student is a freshman at 13 or 14 years old, their mindset isn't thinking in terms of how a business pays their bills. They just know that, I want someone to pay for my Spotify. And how does that happen? How do you link it to your checking account, which they have no clue what a checking account is. They just think it's a debit card. And there's all these little things that help them. So if we're talking about paying bills with a business, I try and put in that personal finance aspect in there so that they understand, treat yourself as the business, right? And you can go on to the next slide, right? So it's every pathway. So if we look in your CTE pathways on financial literacy, right? If you everything has the link that is you just click on the link, it's right there. You don't have to look for anything. It's not like you're searching around. It has self-paced lessons, it has guided lessons, right? You're just picking whichever one you want. You can go to the next slide, and we're going to talk specifically about specific pathways, right? So hospitality, events, and tourism. I was in the last session, and I had so many people coming in for DECA and FBLA, and DECA has all the hospitality and tourism events, right? We have all the management events, the entrepreneurship events, the personal finance events. So within DECA, when you're working with your classroom and you have students that are in DECA, you can make your own DECA classroom with the Intuit portal, the education portal, and they can work through the lessons themselves. Because if they're not in your classroom for that marking period or semester, but they're still doing any sort of event, this will help them keep the vocabulary in their mind and understand what's going on. Yes, DECA. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Right? So we used to have, this one's close to my heart because of my business background. So students interested in entrepreneurship need more than a great idea, right? The idea is only a part of entrepreneurship. You need to understand budgeting, cash flow, pricing, taxes, profitability, right? Today, every kid has a side hustle, maybe a small business, right? And the entrepreneurship lessons help them understand what it actually takes to make those ventures financially successful. Strong financial planning skills provide the foundation for sustainable business growth. I can go to the next slide. Okay, so now we have public service and safety. I'm sorry, did someone have a comment?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my microphone was messed up earlier. I had a quick question going back to that entrepreneurship um, slide. So
Yes.
um, last year, my students got the small business and entrepreneurship certification. I'm
Yes.
trying to keep that, but I'm also wanting to add these other certifications to that.
Mhm.
Um, when the entrepreneurship curriculum that you were talking about or the resources, will that help prepare them for that as well or no?
It's not as in-depth.
Okay.
It's not as in-depth as a straight up entrepreneurship curriculum because the small business and entrepreneurship certification, the one through Certiport, is a full course, with a book, mainly with a book. It would help, but you do need, I would say, in addition to. I don't think it would be standalone with it. QuickBooks, yes. Personal finance certification, yes. But the entrepreneurship, the certification, the pathway with Intuit is entrepreneurial finance, not just entrepreneurship, right? So it's the finance aspect of entrepreneurship. Does that help? Okay, I hope so. Okay, well, you can message me if you want any more information. I
Yes,
can help you with that. Oh, okay.
sorry, it was acting weird.
That's, I'm just looking in the chat while I'm trying to get you. I have, it's on, let me. resources teaching about financing for developing apps. That's a question in my chat there. For specifically for developing apps, no, it's more on a broader spectrum. Right. So back to finances, personal finance with public service and safety. Right. So students preparing for careers in law enforcement, fire services, emergency, public administration, right? It helps to learn how public funding works, lessons on taxes, where resources come from, how government agencies work, right? Risk management and insurance concepts also connect directly to emergency planning and public safety operations. Right, we can go to the next slide. We can go one more. I think that was a double. Yes. So our key takeaways as we begin wrapping up in here, because I want to have time for questions. As we begin wrapping up, there's three key points I want you to remember. First, Intuit for Education has already done much of the work by creating the pathway and the alignment documents, right? You have it all set for you there. You can pick and choose which ones you want. Second, personal finance supports every CTE pathway. Even if you don't have a CTE course, right? Even if you're I don't want to say just math or English teacher, because it's not a just in that situation. If you're a math, you're English, your history, or science, right? Any of these, I can probably find an Intuit personal finance lesson for you to put within your course to help your students, align how real life is working with the topic that you're talking about, right? And the be all and end all, you don't have to create any lesson from scratch, right? My favorite way, especially to use the self-paced lessons, is to use them as your subplans, right? They're self-paced. They have videos, they have worksheets, everything is all in there. If you don't even know you're going to be out, you just happen to, going to be out that day, you can just post it into your LMS, the link to the Intuit for Education portal. Hopefully in the beginning of the year, you set up a classroom. Rather than linking your Intuit portal with your LMS, I like to just set up a classroom and give the kids the code. And then once you give them the code and the link, they just sign in on their computers and they have access to your class. Within that platform, you can set up when that assignment opens, when it closes, what exactly assignment is it? And my favorite part, there's even timings with all of these.
I have a question.
Yes.
In this, are the self-paced different material than the teacher-paced ones, or is it the same material?
No. It's the same material, except one is guided by the teacher and one is self-paced. That's all it
All
is.
right.
Is
And what
if you're
about
doing regular teacher guided, you
Mhm.
can't assign that. Like you can't just like push it out as an assignment.
But
Just
it's the same materials, right? If I
Yeah.
were to do so. Okay,
Yes.
now another question. What about cheating?
It that's why you could print everything out. It's all on a document. And when I was doing the entrepreneurial finance last year, I would just print out the document because then they had to handwrite it out. I mean, I have them working in groups anyway. Obviously, if they have the exact same words as somebody else, they're cheating. But I mean, that's up to you how you handle it. And then they can't cheat on the simulation part because when you're doing self-paced, there's certain parts that you hit. There's an actual simulation where you have to type the information in. So they have to do it on their end. And if they don't do it on their end, their little portal won't get a little check mark. And they don't get that green check mark and they didn't finish it. And then I have a lot of students that love to go right to the end of the portal and just take the exit ticket assessment without anything being done. And you can see exactly how much time they spent on it and that they bypassed everything.
I have a question
And once
again.
they know that, they're not going to skip it again. Once they get that zero, they don't, well, at least in my class, they don't like to skip it again.
I have another question, please.
Sure.
Do you know, can they access the website and all the tools on Chromebooks?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the
Okay.
main reasons that I navigated over to this because it's own website. And as long as you may need to contact IT if it's blocked. That's the only thing. I don't know how
Okay.
many IT departments are blocking everything except what they
Yeah.
absolutely need
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So if you are interested in learning more or how they can support you, we have accesses for there. Like I'm going to open it up now if anybody has any questions that we're going for. Any other questions
I
I see here in the chat?
I have
Um, yeah, can teachers and parents access the student's progress? No, only teachers. The parents cannot access it. The parents can't see the progress.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So my program is slightly different, being that it's not a
Hmm.
school. I work for Goodwill, and so I work with parents
Oh,
to reenter
okay.
the workforce. So
Absolutely.
I still have to assign work. Some of them have homework that they have to complete. So I want them to
Yes,
create a class. But then once you
absolutely.
do send an email to admin because of FERPA and things like that,
Mhm.
do I just
Wait,
assign it
are
to
you
admin?
teaching kids or adults?
I teach adults.
You're adults. So you should be able to just give them the code to your Intuit classroom and then they put the code in because
Okay.
that's how I did with my adults. Because they
Okay.
did not have school issue, no school
Okay,
issue
perfect.
emails. They
I'll
used
recheck that.
personal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Stacy, I see your
Do
hand
you
is
know
up.
how to go about getting DSA information? Our students aren't allowed to use these programs unless we have a DSA on file showing that y'all don't do any data sharing. Um,
Oh, I'm not sure.
and
Would
I put in for it 2 years ago to have it approved, but they've been reaching out and haven't received any response back to try to get it approved because otherwise only teachers can use it and we can't use it with students
I'm gonna
until
that's
it's
give
probably
you,
I just put a
yeah,
similar question in the chat.
I'm gonna give you the email for our teammate that works directly with districts to get some of these things approved. So give me a moment. I'm gonna put it in the chat. And she works with all of our districts.
yeah. I think now remember the one where the educator portal that was giving everybody a QuickBooks um free for the year. That's probably more, I guess, the issue of not doing it. Whereas I don't think the Intuit for Education, where you're having the students' emails, because I only let my student emails. They can only log in with their student emails, not personal
right.
emails.
But
Whereas
we
when
have
I
to
was
have proof that that's all that they're collecting in order
yeah.
for, and then the district won't allow anybody to get in. If it's online based, they have to have a DSA in place showing that you're only collecting email addresses and not first and last names and not other personal identification information, or we are not allowed to use it.
Oh, okay. So do you see Meredith's email at
Yes, I
Intuit
got it.
in the chat? I would reach out to her because she was going to be the best. And maybe you're opening it up to something maybe that they haven't thought of before, right? And to get more people to use it. I'm not sure about that. I'm just speaking to the platform today. Okay. Any more questions?
Thank
Some
thank
folks
you.
have been asking about the LMS and so forth, and I know that there's a guide on how to set that up, and probably working with your district and so forth. How
You
much of
have to.
this material is auto graded versus teachers going in and grading it? And
Okay.
you know if there's grade pass back?
So any of the worksheets, you have to grade yourself. There's an answer key. They're not, it's not a ton of auto grading because a lot of it is writing, which I personally love my students to get into writing because I do a lot of accounting with the numbers, and they like to give me 2-word answers. And I'm trying to, if I'm getting them ready for the real world, they need to know how to write a sentence. So when they're in the self-paced version of it, they have to respond. You do have to go in and look at that. The stuff that is completely graded for you is going to be all of their quizzes at the end.
Mhm.
So if you
Right.
don't
So it is
have,
going to be,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So if you don't have an email account with a with a high school or educational institution, then you can only access part of the whole the
No.
resources.
Oh, you mean as a teacher?
Correct.
Yes, as a teacher, you do have to verify.
So
I think,
nonprofits, because I teach QuickBooks with a nonprofit for community members.
yes.
However, I'm having a hard time. I can access part of it, but not the whole.
Okay. I completely understand because I also work with a school that's grant funded, but I do have an organization email. I think if you reach out to, it has the email. I'm not sure who the person is. It's going to be, I'm sorry, I don't have that information. The educator portal, if someone knows how to, it's support for the educator portal where that email is. If you email them, show them your work ID, and I'm sure they will give you access to to the platform, a little bit more of the platform to make a teaching account. You'd probably just have to prove that you're doing that because I teach ESL in the evenings
Same.
in another district, and I incorporated all these within it.
Okay, so what is exactly that I need to ask for? That I mean, if you
you're just
don't
gonna
mind,
ask,
that would be great.
you have to when you sign up to make an account, it has to verify you. It's a very quick process to verify you, but there it is. Educator programs at intuit.com. You're going to just reach out to them with your email. I would guess just explain that you don't have do you have an organization email?
Okay.
Or no? Do you have an organization using your personal email?
No, it's my personal email,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So would I have to have an organizational email then?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to speak to yes or no on that. Just contact educator programs at intuit.com and explain your situation, and I'm sure they can help you.
Okay, I will do so. Thank you. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we can go to the next slide. I think that's it. Thank you. If you need more information, here's one more time, Meredith's email on the page. You can check in any questions that you may have that I don't have any more information for you for.